Welcome to Global Studies with Miss Pritchard. This video is for Global 1. It's vocabulary number 3, and it will cover the River Valley civilizations. You will need 19 flashcards or a page or two in your notebook. Make sure you are writing these words down and make sure you have room for images because that's what will help you remember the words. All right, basic political terms. The first one is city-state. That is an urban area and the surrounding land that's controlled by a single government, and it operates much like we would think of a modern country. So instead of the United States being the country, it would be Rochester, New York. A nation-state. That is a country controlled by one government where the people share a common language, culture, and past. So the United States is a nation-state. Canada, Mexico, most of the countries that you can think of in the world are nation-states. Empire. An empire is a large area with one government that controls many cultures. So when we talk about the Roman Empire, they were not only Rome, but they conquered all of the Italian peninsula and eventually all of the land around the Mediterranean, which included many, many cultures. A dynasty, that is a series of rulers from the same family. And the closest connection to that is probably sports teams frequently develop dynasties, like the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s, the Miami Dolphins in the 1970s, and if I watched more sports, I could tell you more of the modern ones. All right, basic religion terms. A theocracy is a government controlled by religion. So instead of having a president, you would have a king who is viewed as a god. Or the priests control the government. Modern Iran is a theocracy, although they do have a president. The president's only allowed to run if the religious leaders of the country approve him. Religion, that is values and traditions that guide daily life and involve worship. A belief system are values that guide daily life. Notice the difference between those two is worship. A religion involves the worship of a god. A belief system does not. Polytheistic, that is a religion that believes in many gods. So remember, poly means many. Mesopotamia, or the Tigris and Euphrates River Valley. It is part of the Fertile Crescent, that is the land between the Mediterranean Sea and the Persian Gulf. Mesopotamia, that is the plain in the Tigris and Euphrates River Valley. It is the site of the oldest known civilizations. Sumer is the oldest known civilization. It developed in present-day Iraq with city-states like Ur, that we studied in chapter 1. Hammurabi, that was a Babylonian emperor from 1792 to 1750 BCE, and he is famous because he had the first written code of law. This is a huge turning point in history. Once again, you want gold stars, highlighting, circling, however you want to mark it. It's a huge deal. It's on the Regents all the time. This is huge because the government was taking responsibility to protect the people. And in this case, everybody knew what the laws were and what the consequences were because they were posted in public. All right, Egypt, or the Nile River Valley. You need to know hieroglyphics. That is the Egyptian pictograph writing. It was deciphered with the Rosetta Stone. I believe in the lecture I told you could do some extra credit about that. That option is still open. Ramses II, he was an Egyptian pharaoh known as Ramses the Great, and he ruled during the Exodus, and that might sound familiar because Exodus is the second book of the Bible, and it does tell the story of the Hebrews leaving Egypt. And it was the golden age of the New Kingdom. He is one of the longest ruling pharaohs in ancient history, and he had tons and tons of kids. You could do extra credit research on him as well. His mummy is actually preserved in a museum in Egypt. All right, the Harappan or the Indus River Valley. They are on the Indian subcontinent. Now, a subcontinent is a smaller landmass that is separated from the rest of it. So it's part of Asia, but you can tell that the Asia and India slam together because that's where we get the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush Mountains, which all show the evidence of those two land masses smashing together. Monsoons, these are what controls the climate in India and the Indus River Valley. And they are seasonal winds that alternate between wet and dry seasons. And the Harappan civilization is the ancient civilization of the Indus River Valley. We don't know as much about it because we have not deciphered the language yet. But they had incredible engineering and city planning, including indoor plumbing, one of my favorite things. All right, and China, or the Huanghe River Valley. You need to know the term ethnocentrism. This is the belief that your culture is superior to all others and that you should control everything because of that. That is a term we will use throughout Global 1 and Global 2, so make sure you know that one. And the final word is mandate of heaven. That is the approval of the gods needed to rule China. And it is a brilliant idea if you come up with it, because there's no way to prove that you have the mandate of heaven other than actually ruling, but it will scare most people enough that they won't go against you. So, all right, that is it for this time.
And bye, I'm Miss Pritchard's kid, and remember to show her your notes, and yeah.